Welcome to Mortgage Talk with Mark Hairston, the program that not only talks about mortgages, taxes, and interest rates, but Mark and his guests talk real estate trends and your home. He also answers your mortgage questions to help you make the right financing or refinancing decisions. Now, here's Mark Hairston.
Happy day, everybody, and welcome back to Mortgage Talk and More with Mark Hairston. I am your host today, and I'm very excited to introduce a good friend of mine that I've known for probably 15 years. And one of the things I pride myself on in this show is to find very interesting guests. And believe me, this guest will not disappoint. I've known Ken a long time, and I jotted down a couple of things about him that I really appreciate. He's a very prolific YouTuber and podcaster, been a top producing realtor for decades, very, very experienced and successful investor in his own right. He's a musician, as I recall.
Yep,
you play
absolutely.
guitar.
Yep.
You got your own band.
Yeah, we do.
Wonderful family man. Been married for how many years?
31.
31. And got
Proverbs
a couple of
31.
great kids. Faithful Christian. Got a good walk with the Lord. And even his name is interesting. Kenn, spelled with two N's.
Yeah, my dad messed me up. Ken with
you
two
may want to
N's.
start with that.
Yeah.
But here's my friend Kenn Renner.
Yeah, Ken with K-E-N-N. And then Renner, R-E-N-N-E-R, but that's spelled the same way backwards, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those. I forget
I didn't think about
there's
that.
a name. I forget what they call that. But
Well, cool.
yeah, Mark, we've gone way back. We used to help do classes together, teach first-time home buyers how to buy houses, how to fix their credit, and
That's right.
get them down the road to home ownership. And
We both believe in education.
Oh yeah,
Foundationally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's a educated buyer is a much less stressed buyer.
Absolutely.
So I would just lay it all out with the 10 steps of the home buying process and reasons why you'd want to buy a property, because people are scared, especially first timers.
Sure.
And they don't know where to turn to. So we do these free presentations, and we still do them today. And was able to put hundreds of first time home buyers into properties that otherwise didn't think they could do it.
Right.
And part of that was because my background was also in mortgages.
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
Not only a
River City Mortgages?
River City Home Loan.
Home loans. I knew it was something.
Yeah, River City Home Loans back. And so that's what happened. And
I was always envious. You always had a better presence than me in the market even then.
well, I did a lot of marketing. So, so.
But let's back up and tell us how you got to Austin.
Yeah. So I got my first real estate license when I was 19 years old in Anchorage, Alaska. And so I was 19 years old. It was 1983.
Okay.
Interest rates were 12.5%. Down from 18.
Wow.
And adjustables were starting at 7.5. We thought that was really good.
Yeah, exactly. For 1 year,
for
1 month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then they would go negative and amateur.
Negative, yeah.
So, but, and that was a tough time to get into real estate, a 19-year-old. But fortunately, a couple of years later, after getting my broker's license, the market just fell out of Texas, of Alaska, just like it did in Texas. The real estate and the oil crash of the mid-'80s.
Yeah, mid-'80s.
So then I ended up, we moved to California. So don't hold it against me.
That won't. It's all good.
So yeah, we moved to California. We weren't natives at the time. So yeah, so moved there and started in the mortgage business. And actually buying my first home in Anchorage, when I was looking at the process, when I did my loan application, I was going and look at this busy office and everybody it looked like they were having a lot of fun doing what they were doing. I said, I was looking for career choice, and that's what I went into. So
interesting.
Yeah. And so then same thing. And then what happened, we did some really, mid-'90s to early mid-'80s to early 90s, did really well in real estate.
In California.
Right.
The market here was a little different.
Yeah, it was in a slump. And that's the counter cycles that you have between markets between the West Coast and East Coast and here. They're on counter cycles. It's a whole nother. That's my investment seminar.
Different conversation.
But yeah, I finally had some money, as we all do towards the end of a boom, right?
Yeah.
And my father-in-law to be said, you should check this place out called Austin, Texas. And I'm thinking oil derricks and
Yeah,
cowboy hats and tumbleweeds
and horses.
Yeah. So I'm like cowboy boots and all that. And so I flew out here in 1989. And I bought 3 houses the first trip I was out here.
Perfect timing,
in
too.
South Austin for, little 3-bedroom, 2,000, 79,000.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's the idea of real estate all the way around. Whether it's just own one home or own 10 or 20, is don't wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and wait.
There you go.
So my father-in-law is a perfect example of that. He's worth over 8 figures. And all he's done is buy and hold, buy and hold, 1031 exchange, buy and hold, and build up a rather substantial portfolio.
Here in Austin area?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and so I bought properties there, but what the side thing was when I got here, I was like, wow, this place is cool. Willie Nelson's playing down on 6th Street.
Right.
I'm a musician.
Right.
It was like, it was cool. I mean,
You'd never been here before. Huh?
I'd never been here before. And so it blew me away, the lakes and all that.
Right.
And
so green back then.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
It was way before all this development. Everything was green.
And it was quiet, and there was no traffic.
I know. You could actually drive down I-35.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so that I really kind of fell in love with the place, as many people did. And so and I made plans with my wife to be at the time, Michelle, that we would move here and start our life and get out of California, because it was crowded in California. It was the school and the school systems were, and there was the have-nots and there was gangs next to $1 million houses. It was like. So, we decided we wanted to do a different lifestyle, a quieter lifestyle, and also have opportunity to build a business. So, because the people here were they were taking it easy. It was a very slow lifestyle. Everybody's out at the lake at 3 o'clock, and they're out at the lake. There's bankers' hours, right?
Right.
So I just came here and I just started working hard and really built up a very nice mortgage company, River City Home Loan. Then I decided to also get into real estate sales as well, because I could do the loan and the real estate, and my clients loved the continuity there. And I also was teaching them how to buy homes. So they'd come to a 1-hour class, teach them everything. I eventually wrote a book on home buying secrets.
I have it still.
Yep,
yeah,
and I give it away. I give it away for my clients. It needs to be revised now.
Yeah,
because of the new laws. But so that's kind of what I started doing, is telling first time home buyers, teaching them how to do it, because 30% of the market, just as it is today, the first timers need help.
Yes,
and no one was serving them. So I'm serving the underserved.
Yeah,
and then. My wife asked me, she said, those little houses you're buying for $100,000 over there in Pflugerville, what would they rent for? I said, about $1,200, because that was the Dell computers was going through the roof, and you couldn't get a rental.
That's right.
Yeah, mid to late 90s. And so she goes, well, how much would that be positive? It was like $500-$600 a month way back then per property.
Yeah.
So we went that next day and bought 2.
Yeah.
Because it was no brainer.
Right.
So
it is a no-brainer.
Yeah. So, and that's exactly how we started doing it. And then we started teaching others, hey, why not? You can do the same thing we're doing. And that's kind of where it led to me teaching investors how to start buying investment properties. And then I would start to go to California and do presentations out there, because in the beginning of 2000s, Dell computers was going out, .com bomb, bust,
Right.
Things were kind of Deadsville around here.
Rates were still fairly high.
And and no one was buying because they weren't sure of their jobs. But California was blowing up. Right, it was the early '90s, go go go, and so early 2000s, go go go. So I was telling them I would go out there and do big presentations, say, hey, you should move some of your equity or all of it to Texas, where it's undervalued and underpriced, and it's going to go up, because you will have a crash here in values in California. Yeah. And everybody's like, going, ain't going to be no crash. I go, yeah, there's going to be a crash.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
Which happened in 06, 07.
When you hear people talk about any market, whether it's stock market or this market in real estate, and they say it's crazy, it's absolutely crazy. And how many? Yeah, it's time to sell. Yeah. How many times did we say it's like the market's crazy? And I was like, it's time to sell.
Right. Yeah. Like 2022.
Yeah, 2022.
Right.
Yeah, and so yeah.
I always thought that was genius that you would go out to California and share with people, teach people how to reallocate their assets.
Yeah.
And take that leverage all their not all of it possibly, but a lot of their equity.
Well, they could do exchanges. They could sell their property and exchange it with tax. Yeah, it's tax deferred.
Tax deferred.
Yeah, so they don't no taxable liability there.
And you shared an example of a guy who sold a house and bought 9.
Yeah, in San Mateo, he had a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house with a 1-car garage. It was 1,100 square feet. He sold it for $1.4 million.
Dang.
That was in 2017, and he bought 9 houses here.
Yeah.
So his income from that property went from $3,900 out in San Mateo to $13,500 here.
He's a happy camper.
Yeah, he's financially free. Right. And we talk about the freedom, about liberty. As people are like afraid, well, I can't real estate, investing, and could lose everything, or the fear. It's like, the whole thing about it is that it's very, very predictable. The real estate is like seasons. God made seasons. He's done the same thing with real estate cycles.
Yeah.
There's winters, there's springs, there's summers, and there's falls. Yeah. Right. So that's that, and I think that's
a great way to say it. Predictable.
Yeah, and but it just depends on. Sometimes it's compressed, like the pandemic turned a 10-year cycle into a 3
2
to 4
years.
year
Right.
cycle.
Right.
So it's just, but people come to me because I'm a kind of a harbinger. I look over the horizon and see where the trends are moving because I'm following it all day long, but I pay attention. And my dad always taught me to follow those cycles of the market. And right now, Austin's flat, but our other areas that we invest in, San Antonio, New Braunfels, Temple, Texas, that are just 50 miles, San Marcos, Bastrop, just 50 miles away from Austin, you can get properties literally at half the price with almost as much rent.
Temple.
The Temple's a great example. You get a beautiful house for $250,000. It's only 50 miles north of Austin. So yeah, we own a bunch of properties ourselves in Temple, and I sold over 200 from 2007.
200.
Yeah. Well, since pandemic started, 2020, because I had that momentum, and all of a sudden everybody's looking for somebody in Austin that knows what they're doing in the investment side. I sold 400 properties between 2020 and now. And so it's over 110 million. And so I was busy.
Yeah, 24/7 busy, man.
Yeah, mostly new construction. So everybody had brand new houses. And
Right.
So, and they're really pleased. They're really pleased with what they've got. And I did see what was coming. In 2020, 2021, we slowed down buying in Austin, partly because it was getting too difficult to buy, and then the builders were shutting out investors all completely.
They would only take owner occupied.
Owner occupied. So there was nothing for me to sell, and there's nothing for our investors to buy. So that's why we went to what I call submarkets.
Yeah,
markets close enough to Austin, and then now it's the mega region between San Antonio and Austin is a big deal because San Antonio is bigger than Austin. A lot of people don't realize that. It's bigger both in size and in population. It's the 7th largest city in the nation.
Yeah.
And then you got Austin, that's now the 10th largest city in the nation.
We just fell out, by the way.
We went to 11, I know. I think San Mateo kicked us out again. So, but no, San Jose, I think, because they've been bouncing back and forth. But so Austin made one of the biggest lists on that pods. The pods, those container things, they kind of like U-Haul. They come out with their reports that we were the 5th largest exiting city. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Really?
Yeah, fifth top 5 of Miami was one, another one of those in New York. The top 5 of people moving away from. But guess what? San Antonio last year in the census was the place where more people came by numbers than anywhere in the nation. 23,000 people moved to San Antonio.
And why do you think that is?
Because of affordability, and because it's
industry. Is there a lot of work there?
There's a lot of work there. There's military, there's services industry like USAA. There's HEB is centered out of there. There's it's a big city. It's there's 2.1 million people. Yeah. So between the two of us, we're going to become like a metroplex. It'll be like a gigaplex, they're calling it. Like
between San Antonio and Austin?
Yeah, it's going to be like Dallas-Fort Worth.
You're right.
They're all merged now. Yeah. That's what's happening with San Antonio and Austin. And we're getting in front of that, and we're buying houses at 50% of what they would cost here in Austin.
Well, I got to talk to you myself.
I know. I'm going to go buy 2.
Absolutely. I've always thought of you as a visionary, and that's one reason I wanted you to be on the show, because people are holding back, at least by experience right now, and I want to give them hope that there is a lot of future in this market.
Yeah, you just got to know where to throw the dart. And also, you don't bet on the horse, you bet on the jockey.
That's right.
So you and I have been doing this forever. You own investment property. I own a bunch of investment property, and it's worked well for us. I mean, I got nothing more than a high school education. Yeah. I had to do something, so I went into sales, right? Yeah. But that's the thing is you can become prosperous and wealthy even without a college education.
Yes, it's a great industry.
Yeah, and 85% of the world's population, or the world's wealthy, made theirs through real estate. And I think also we talk in the Christian world, they're a little bit afraid of some of the cliches that have come along, like money is the root of all evil. That's not the way the scripture reads. It's the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil.
Right.
And we get these things that kind of just hold us back from taking a chance. Or you can't capture a vision. I couldn't see myself with 10 properties or whatever. Well, you get that vision, where there's no vision, people perish, right? So that's kind of what I do is give them hope, and that's how I started with first-time homebuyers. In fact, that was an acronym I came up with: housing opportunities possible for everyone.
Oh man, I like that.
Yeah, so that's how we. And that was my heart. And we gave 10% of every check to charities. So one for local Habitat for Humanity, and the other one was Fullness in Christ Ministries up in Fort Worth that does the Philippine ministry.
That's awesome.
So every house that we were buying, that our clients bought through this, was building houses for locally for Habitat for Humanity, and we're building houses in the Philippines where we'll never see these people because of the being able to contribute. So that was my heart.
Though.
God will see it. God will see it. I'm okay with that. I'll meet some of those kids up in heaven.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah,
let's talk a little bit about the stats too. Right? Tell us where we stand in Austin and the surrounding areas.
Okay, so this just came out today. It is June 14th.
June 14th, right?
14th. Are we supposed to say that when it's a recorded thing? It's supposed to be live.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay. So the MSA, which is a 5-county region around Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, is
name those 5 counties. We got Travis, Williamson, Hayes,
Caldwell, Bastrop.
Bastrop. Okay.
Yeah. So median sales price for this year was down just less than 1% than it was for last year.
Okay.
So basically, we have a flat market.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it hasn't gone up, hasn't gone down, but there's back in 2022, the peak June of 2022 was the prices were $537.
Okay.
So we've still got some room to catch up to that, but we're going to show you
June of 2022.
June of 2022.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago was the bottom of the market or top of the market, and then by December it was the bottom of the market. That's how quickly
that year.
turned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but one of the things that we looked at the city of Austin, which was is going to make the news, is that the price is up. Median price for a home in Austin is $608,000. That's the city of Austin, city limits, $608,000, and that's up 11.6%
this time last
from
year.
this time last year.
I just didn't know that.
Yeah, that
shocks me.
It shocked me when I saw the stat, and then you made a very good point. That's probably because it's a median price. It's probably the higher end homes that are selling that are starting to bring that up. I know the higher end's been in a kind of the doldrums as a lot of the rest of the market, and so maybe Austin's gotten really some advantage for the higher end properties selling. I think that's what brought up the price because all the other areas. Travis County was up 4.7%. Up to 55, and then Williamson County was flat. So those are some interesting numbers. But what's concerning here, as you know, is the amount of active listings.
Mm-hmm.
Inventories going up.
Mm-hmm.
You have 85%. Active listings are up 85% over last year in the city of Austin.
Can you repeat that?
Up 85% over last year.
Wow.
So we had 2021 new listings. It's up 40%. So we're up. Active listings are up 85%. Those are ones already on the market, and the ones coming on the market is up 40%. So we're going to start seeing there's going to be some adjusting going on to be able to sell it. Months of inventory actually hit 6.2 months of supply.
Wow.
That is up from 2.7 months a year ago.
Okay.
So that's a normal supply, normal
that's
back
called
in
a balanced market.
A balanced market, technically.
Yeah, technically.
That's we haven't seen that for 13 or 14 years.
Right.
And then the same
thing. 2010 or so, 11 maybe.
Yeah. And so the same thing in months of inventory for the whole MSA is 4.9 months. So our average days on the market we're gonna see some big competition and people pricing their homes and to get them sold. And or what I recommend, if they got that 2.75%, and keep it. People ask me, how do I get into real estate investing? Well, I'm going to just start with the current house that you're living in.
Start with one. Right.
Start the one you're living in.
And rent it out. Yeah.
Rent it out. And then you can go buy another one. You can get the seller to pay down points to get their interest rate down to 5%, or the builder will.
That's right.
To go with the builder. But you know that's the thing that you and I educate our sellers in, is if you're going to compete against the builders who are offering these low interest rates, you may want to, instead of lower your price, offer incentive money to buy that mortgage payment down.
Yeah.
Because the biggest problem that we have is affordability right now.
I just got a contract in today of property in Williamson County, Leander, $580, but the seller's paying $25,000 worth of points.
Yeah.
Resale.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll get that rate down in the 5s easy.
Yeah, easy. And that's something that people don't really, they're always concentrating on price. No, now it's terms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's affordability.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And builders they're capitalizing on it. They're actually the first time that builders now are selling more than resales.
Really?
Yeah, first time.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so they're providing the inventory that and if you're competing against them, remember, I was taking a first time home buyer, VA buyer out, showing them homes last February, and I was telling them you could buy this house on this street resale for $400, or we can go buy the new one with the Lennar who just built the same houses, and you could buy a $500,000 house. Mm-hmm. This is basically almost $1,000 a month more for the resale
Because of the rates.
because of the interest rates.
Yeah, what they're offering.
So that's the whole thing is that you can really you can get your payments to where they're affordable, or you can do the 2-1 buy downs, and there's all the stuff, all those tools that you and I have known for years that we never had.
Now they're starting to come to play.
Yeah. So, and even our investors are getting 5.25, 4.75.
No way.
Yeah. Yes, that's why we're doing it. So, like in San Antonio and the submarkets around San Antonio, we're getting homes for between $200 and $250, and they're running about $200 to $300 a month positive because we have low tax rates as low as 1.6, and we have the builder buying the rate down to 5.75 or 5.25 on a 30-year fixed.
25% down.
With 25% down. And then they pay 2 points on top of that in regular closing costs.
Fabulous.
So when you look at the numbers, it's almost impossible not to go, wow, let's buy 2 or 20. So.
We've only got a couple minutes here left.
Okay,
We've got a few minutes. Let's make sure people know how to get a hold of you, Ken.
Okay,
if they want to talk to you about investing or selling or whatever.
Yeah, so I don't just do investing. I do a lot of investment, but I also do regular real estate from first-time home buyers, sellers, all the way up to luxury. We're listing our in-laws' house now for just under $1 million over the Northwest Hills. So,
nice.
So if they want to get a hold of me, it's Ken with 2 N's at buyaustin.com. That's BUY Austin.com.
You've had that forever.
I've had that since 95.
I was going to say,
it's probably worth something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's buyaustin.com is the website. And then also my phone number is 512-423-5626, and call or texting is even quicker.
Awesome.
Yeah, 512-423-5626. So if you want to get a free copy of my book that I wrote, be more than happy to send you a signed hard copy, and I'll shoot you an email with a soft copy on it.
Awesome.
It's Home Buying Secrets Revealed. It's a best-selling book. It's on Amazon.
I've read it. It's
you
great.
Can get it from me for free. And it is really a lot of my experiences through it, but it's also experiences of how we've helped, structure
hundreds of people.
Yeah, hundreds of people.
Thousands probably.
Now thousands, yeah. So it's and so it's my why do I do what I do is because I really love seeing people have come to fruition. Andrea Sullivan is my client. She took me out to lunch a couple months ago. She's in her 70s now. And she said, Ken, when I came to you, I had sold a fourplex in Huntington Beach, and I didn't know what to do, and I had no job, and I just got a divorce. So we ended up buying in late 1999 10 single-family homes with D.R. Horton. And she goes, well, I didn't even have a job. And I said, I know, but you did a 1031 exchange. What we were able to do is we would buy the first one, put a tenant in it, therefore you have income coming off it. Buy the second one, put a tenant in it, therefore you have income coming off.
Right.
So eventually,
That's genius,
by the time she got to the 6th or 7th house, she told me, she goes, she left me a great review on my Google. Renner Realty is my company name, and a Google review. And that's when she called me and said, let's go. She said, you wrote a book on how to, both a Christian book and a secular book on goal setting. She goes, I read that book, and my goal was to become financially free by the time I was 50. She said, I want to thank you is because when you sold me those 10 homes from that one fourplex we had, I was 53 years old. I've never had to work again.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's fabulous.
So she went 3 years in Russia to do missions work.
Wow.
And I said, could you pick Costa Rica or something?
Yeah.
A missions trip or something? I don't know. Yeah, but that's okay. Serve the Russians. That's fine. But yeah, no, it was really, it was Poland. She went to Poland for 3 years to do missions trip. So that's the whole thing behind financial freedom is not so that we can serve ourselves. It's so you can go on a missions trip for 3 years and not have to worry about
freedom.
If you want, yeah.
And also generational wealth. You talked about
generational wealth. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the only ways to really pass your wealth down to the next generation. Well, the Bible says that a good man leaves a inheritance for his children's children. And our Far Eastern cultural buyers, they seem to get that more than our Western buyers. I guess it's not pounded in our head that we we take care of our parents and we take care of our kids, and if we can, we take care of our kids, right? So, I mean, financially and everything. And just one last thing that my wife talked about, and I thought those were brilliant, about, the four wheels of a healthy person, which is a healthy car analogy, is that, you have your body, soul, and spirit. Those are the three tires.
Sure.
But the fourth tire is the financial one.
Right.
And if any one of those is running low, if you're running low on your soul, your body's not, you don't have your health.
Right.
We've had both of us health scares that we have to deal with.
Absolutely.
You know, if we don't have that, and then same thing with the financial. It's really, you could have all the body, soul, spirit. But if you're really struggling financially, it's like a flat tire.
It's like
you can't go
almost,
and God wants us to move. He wants us to go. He wants us to go take territory. He wants us to prosper and be fruitful and multiply. Jesus said it. It says, I hope that you bear much fruit.
Much fruit.
And that's in all areas of our lives. So don't be afraid.
Amen. I love that.
To get involved with real estate.
Great message. And before we get off the line, I want you to talk briefly about the new regulations with NAR.
Yeah. So that's going
to come into play.
That's going to in mid-August. There will be no more blanket offers of compensation from listing agents to pay a buyer's broker. Okay. On the MLS.
Okay. They can't advertise.
They can't advertise. They can't market it like that. They can offer concessions, but it can't be a set percentage that's going to a buyer's agent. So therefore, the buyer's agents may have to negotiate, or will have to negotiate with their buying clients to that if the seller won't pay it, then they have to pay it.
Okay.
Right. So typical is 3%, 2.5%, 2%, whatever the number is.
Whatever you negotiate.
It's always been negotiable,
right,
whether the seller was paying it or not. Right.
Yeah.
So, but the thing about it is that they've made these rules, and also you can't even go and show a property, can't even see a property unless you've signed a buyer's agency agreement.
Interesting.
If the agent's expecting to get paid. So it's changed.
So you can't actually go open doors for people until they...
Yeah, legally, or rule-wise, we're supposed to have a buyer's agency. Mm-hmm. You could go open doors, but you're not supposed to without having a buyer's representation.
Right.
But there's no guarantee you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
Now, technically, you have to have a buyer's agency agreement in place before you open the door. And
do you normally do that as practice?
How's going to know if the agent, they call up an agent, can you open the door for me? We're there. We're right there. How do you know as an agent it's 2 months in the business or 40 years in the business?
That's right.
So all the buyer's agents are going to have to prove their value, and they're going to have to it's going to be a shakeup in the market.
It's going to be a shakeup.
50% of the 50% of the realtors sold none or one real estate property last year in Austin.
Yeah.
So
and you're just going to flourish more. So
well, you have to provide your value. You have to show your value.
You got all of it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we are wrapping it up, man. That went fast.
You, appreciate you, brother.
Fast, and it was a great conversation. I'm so glad you could make it today. And again, call Ken.
All right, God bless you.
God bless.
This has been Mortgage Talk with Mark Hairston. Mark is a mortgage advocate with Texas Mortgage Source, LLC, offering personalized mortgage solutions, fast customized quotes, great rates, and service with integrity. Contact Mark at markhairston.com. markhairston.com. You can call or text Mark at 512-789-6967. That's 512-789-6967. And come back next week for more Mortgage Talk.